What happens to my app data if I transfer to a new Apple ID?
Hey there! Welcome to today's video, where we'll be discussing what happens to your app data if you transfer to a new Apple ID. If you've ever wondered about this when switching to a different Apple ID, you've come to the right place. So, let's dive right in.
Understanding app data and Apple IDs.
Before we get into the specifics of what happens to your app data, let's take a moment to understand what app data is and how it relates to your Apple ID. App data refers to the information stored within applications on your device, including user preferences, settings, game progress, and other relevant data. Your Apple ID is a unique identifier that allows you to access various Apple services, such as the App Store, iCloud, and more. It acts as a central account that connects your device to these services and enables synchronization and backup functionality.
Transferring to a new Apple ID.
Now, let's address the main question. What happens to your app data when you transfer to a new Apple ID? When you switch to a different Apple ID on your device, there are a few important things to consider. 1. App ownership. App ownership is tied to the Apple ID that was used to download or purchase the app. If you switch to a new Apple ID, you won't have automatic access to apps that were downloaded or purchased with your previous Apple ID. 2. Data synchronization. App data synchronization generally relies on iCloud or other cloud services associated with your Apple ID. When you switch to a new Apple ID, the data synchronization may be affected. You may lose access to certain data stored in the cloud, such as app-specific settings or progress. 3. Backup and restore. If you have previously created a backup of your device using iCloud or iTunes, you can restore your data onto a new Apple ID. However, it's important to note that this will replace the current data on your device with the data from the backup, so be cautious when performing a restore.
Mitigating data loss.
To minimize the risk of losing your app data when transferring to a new Apple ID, here are a few suggestions. 1. Manual data transfer. Some apps provide options to export or transfer data manually. Before switching to a new Apple ID, check if your apps offer any data export functionality. This way, you can save important data externally and import it into the app associated with your new Apple ID. 2. Contact app developers. If you have critical app data that you need to preserve, reach out to the app developers. They may have specific recommendations or tools to help you transfer your data to a new Apple ID. 3. Backup your data. Before making any changes to your Apple ID, it's always a good practice to back up your device. This ensures that you have a recent copy of your data, and if something goes wrong during the transfer, you can easily restore your device to its previous state. That's all for today's video on what happens to your app data when you transfer to a new Apple ID. Remember, when switching Apple IDs, app ownership and data synchronization can be impacted. Be sure to explore manual data transfer options, reach out to app developers if needed, and always back up your data before making any changes. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more useful content. Take care, and see you in the next video.